What's up, YouTube? So today I got bored and decided that I'd do my first how to do video, because I've seen people do videos and so on and on how to install boost gauges, and basically I couldn't figure them out. So I'm going to try and give you in a nutshell the most easy, simple way of doing it, the way in which I've done it. And like always, everybody's different. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to buy your boost gauge, and I've bought mine. You should get 3 wires. You actually get 2 wires, sorry. You'll get a vacuum line, which is a thin line that's going to run from your boost gauge, and it's also going to be cut, and a sample has to be taken off the vacuum hose in your engine bay. You also get a electric cable which just lights it up. It's not you don't need it. The boost gauge will work without power to it, but it's also kind of cool when driving in the dark and it lights up blue. So I've currently mounted mine on top of my steering wheel. Just because it kind of looks cool and I didn't really want it up in the top corner of my window. So I'll take you to the engine bay and we'll go from there, and I'll try and make it as simple and as easy as possible. Right, so I'm in my engine bay. Now, people always seem to be talking about vacuum lines, sampling vacuum lines, so on and so forth. Now don't freak out and don't go, oh my gosh, I don't know whereabouts my vacuum lines are. It's simple. In a Subaru there's 3 of them. You got 3 coming out of your manifold, 1, 2 and 3. Now, it comes down to which one you can get the most easiest access to. Now, I thought this one's a no-go. This one here is the most hardest thing to try and find. There's no cuttable tube that you can access. The second one, I don't actually know if you can actually get a reading off. Please comment if you got a reading off your second one. But I thought originally I was going to go to it, but I tracked it all the way down, and it goes just down into here, and it goes off. Now, I can't bother taking my engine cover off today just because I've already wired it up, and I'm just kind of giving a quick demonstration of what to do. So I went off my third one. Now, all you have to do is try and follow them and just have a look. So basically this one here loops around a little bit underneath here and pops up right here. Now see, you've already have a T-valve there. I'll zoom out a bit so you can kind of get your bearings as to where I'm pointing at, okay? There is a T-valve sitting here. And it's simple, okay? Now, originally, you guys won't have this pipe. I had to put it on because the loop was really short and I couldn't cut it to put my T-valve in. So what you will find is there'll be a thin, basically exactly the same material as this pipe here, and it will loop over in an arc. You can't miss it. You can pull them off easily. They come off simple. Okay? That is a wire. That's the tube that I cut into to get tapped. But I had to put this one on because I couldn't get enough arc to fit my bleed valve in without it trying to bend and pop off. See, I also had to put on these clamps because, again, it's quite an awkward bend and so on. Okay, so that is the one that you cut into to get your vacuum line. So basically it's simple. If some of them may have a straight across one, if you got the arc one, you may have to get this. I think this is petrol pipe that I found lying around, and it fitted on and so on. Okay, so cut that in half. Just do it. And then what you got to do is you have to then install your T-pipe, which then has got the T across there and this little bit there, which is your sample, because the boost gauge doesn't take the full amount of boost, it just takes a sample. So once you've cut that, it's simple. Cut that in half, put your T-pipe in, and you're done, pretty much, in a nutshell. You then have to run this line, okay? This is probably the most hardest and annoyingest part ever. It's just trying to get this through the engine bay, okay? My 2002 Subaru has got a grommet, and I don't know if you guys can see, only just see. Here's my turbo here, my turbo downpipe's there, okay? Just at the back there is a grommet, okay? You just get a screwdriver, and you just pop that off. It's simple. Just pop it off, and then on the back side there'll be another one, and I'll go in and I'll show you guys again. But just pull that out, and what I basically did was I cut a plus sign or a cross, just so that the feed line kind of set in there nicely, and then you run that through the engine bay to the inside of the car, and then after that I'll show you what goes on next. Alright, so I'm going to come down now and show you guys. I'll try and turn the torch on and hopefully it's going to light up as to where the grommet comes through, okay? Now, as you can basically see, you got your clutch pedal, your brake pedal, your accelerator, okay? Now this is on a right-hand drive. Now Americans, probably a little bit different, but it's basically simple, right? Your steering arm is right there, okay? You can't miss it. It's going to smack you right in the face. Now just to the left of that, as you can see, my boost line's already coming out of it, is like a fabric, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a little white little mark just there where my finger's pointing. That's actually a little tab, and it's like a plasticky, foamy fabric crap that I just stuck a screwdriver in and popped it out, and I didn't even put it in properly. You pull that out, and you'll see daylight straight through that grommet hole. Now, that's exactly where you run your feed line from. You pull it all the way through. Now, what I've done with mine is I've basically ran mine up, basically right underneath. So I've pretty much ran it all the way up underneath there, and pulled it on the side of my key barrel and just put it up and right to the side of my boost gauge, as you can see there. Now, you guys are free to do it. The reason why I did that was because I could not be bothered trying to pull all this panel apart, pull this off to try and where they put my alarm in. I just couldn't be bothered. Alright, I love this car too much and couldn't be bothered pulling that all apart. So I went for the simple but good looking way. So I went round there and simple. Right, so now you've done that. So basically what I did was I stuck mine down with blue tack, put it in position, and then I wired it up on the sides as to where I wanted my boost to be, okay? I left it there in case, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you've got it fitted in your engine bay and tightened down, so in case you yank it, you don't have to go back, worry about, oh my gosh, I pulled my cable through and this and that, and it just becomes really annoying. So fix it down in the engine bay, and you can then work, because right now, once you fix it there, you've got it through the grommet, which is up in the back. Once you've got it in there, you close your bonnet, you're done. One thing I did do though, is I did turn my engine on, and I'll basically show you what happens, just to make sure that my gauge did work. Give me 2 seconds, let me just turn my car on. Your car will automatically vacuum when you turn your car on. It should automatically then go down to, it depends, all cars run differently, but mine goes down to just 10. When it warms up, it goes down to 12. So, just to make sure your gauge does work, turn your car on, give it a bit of a rev, and watch your gauge go up, just to make sure. Now comes on to the electrics bit. Rightio, now for the electrics part. Electrics part can be the hardest part if you're not familiar with power, like I am, if you're not used to trying to find, or where to find, sources of power. With this, you need to find accessory power, which means that when you turn the car key to accessory, power comes on, because you don't want your boost gauge illuminated the whole time while your car's off. It'll run your battery flat. So in the 2002 RSK Legacy, the fuse box is currently located right there. Okay, now see, I didn't have my manual because my car has just come straight from Japan. It was all in Japanese. I biffed it. There was no point in me keeping it. I then had to try and find which one of these fuses happened to be my lights fuse, my headlights fuse. And by random chance, I got it and I found it was number 5. So then what I've done is I then wrapped my ignition cord or my power cable to my boost gauge round that and stuck the fuse back in. Now, I don't want people coming and commenting saying, you're an idiot, why'd you do this, you could have done this way, that way. I don't care, I did it that way. Now the fuse will still activate if something goes wrong. Now, this orange wire, that is some LED, I don't know what it is, but quite frankly I don't care what it is, and I left it because it didn't make any difference and it did not change how my boost gauge looks. Now the ground wire, people are probably going and freaking out where on earth they're possibly going to ground their ground wire, but it's simple. Now let me just turn my torch on and just show you whereabouts it is. So what I've done at the moment is I've just alligator clipped it because I'm probably just going to leave it like that because I cannot be bothered. I'll show you why. Trying to wire all up. Now the ground wire, if you just go to your fuse box, go inside and hang a quick left, right there, let me just focus it up, is a ground bolt. Now that's where a lot of the fuses and stuff, it's where the fuse box grounds itself to, and it's where the rest of your electrics ground to. It's right there, it's a ground point. So what I've done there is I couldn't be bothered trying to get a spanner in there to try and undo that and try and resolder my ground wire in there. So I just basically clipped an alligator clip to it. It works, it's simple. So if I know when my boost gauge cuts out and the lights don't come on, it's because that's fallen off. So I then just ran my alligator clip right there. It's simple, it works, and I don't care. Because when I put this back in there, I don't have to worry about it. So then what I did was I ran, because as you can see, this big black wire that splits out into 3 is the standard power wire or the standard wires that you get with your boost gauge. I then tried to get the hard point of trying to stick it all the way through there and run it up the back of the key barrel. Now, it's pretty simple, just get a piece of wire, but I did it the hard way and try to feed it through with my fingers in the back there and try to push it through there. So that's a simple way of getting power. Now, if you're struggling to find power, it's right there. But if you know of any of those wires that you can splice into, or you know how to pull apart a key barrel and get into that, by all means do it. I did it that way because it was a way of finding power when I turned my headlights on. The boost gauge illuminates, which is kind of a smart thing because it means when I'm driving in the daytime, my boost gauge doesn't have to be illuminated unless I want it to. I just turn my lights on. I drove my headlights on anyway, so my boost gauge illuminates, but I'll show you basically what happens. So you get into your car. There it is. So you turn your headlights on. Oh, your boost gauge illuminates. Turn them off, they go off. But see, with the RSK, turn your spotlights on, it counts as the headlights being on, so it illuminates anyway. It doesn't really matter. It comes down to personal preference. If you want the boost gauge to illuminate, turn your headlights on. If you don't, turn your headlights off. If you've got any questions, please feel free to hit me up. I'll answer them as fast as I can, because I know that most things, the thing that annoys me the most is the fact that people don't get back to you when you really want to know something, when you're sitting there, jumped on YouTube, typing away, and all you want to do is get your boost gauge eliminated or fixed and fitted, and people don't get back to you. That pisses me off the most. So I'll get back to you guys ASAP. Any other questions, feel free to ask me. Cheers.